How's it going? My name is Dell. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be setting up the FX server creator for your FX server, right? Default server with TX integration. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up this file here. Download will be in the description. We're going to open this up. We're going to open the file inside here. It's going to bring up a little executable like this. First thing you're going to notice at the top, it says server name with no spaces. If you want to name your server something else, obviously you probably do. For this video, we're going to name it Localhost. And if we're on another hard drive, we can change that. I'm going to have it on my C drive. Most of you will probably have it on your C drive. Server port, you're going to want to leave this the way it is, unless you are planning on hosting more than one server. Script hook, this is basically allowing Lambda or any other client-side menus on your server. Your server name, you can change this through here. You can also change this through your server config file. We're going to do that through the config file later on. Server max clients, default is 32. We're going to leave that the same for now. Server license key, we're going to leave that like this for now. And we're going to change it later in our server config file. So now that all that is covered, we're going to hit create server. It's going to prompt you with yes, and you're going to hit yes. Right now it's creating your server. It takes 3 to 5 minutes. I will cut back to you once the server is created. Okay, now that our server is created, we waited 3 to 5 minutes. It should be done. So we can exit out of this program now. And if we go to this PC, it's going to bring you your hard drives. I have multiple hard drives, so we're going to go into our hard drive that you installed the server on. Mine is C drive. If we go in here, our server name is localhost. We're going to click into that. It's going to show the server. You're going to go into the CFX server data master. Inside that, you're going to see the server config file. We're going to go ahead and open that up, scroll all the way to the bottom, and it's going to say license change made. Now you might not have a license, you might not have an account, so what we're going to do is you're going to go to this in the description. This is keymaster.fivem.net. This is your server key. You're going to need one in order to have a Fivem server. Sign in if you have an account. Make an account, you just hit sign in again, and you can make one through there. Once you have your key done, you can close out of that. Go to change me, highlight that, hit Control V. Your key will go through there. Mine is going to be censored for obvious reasons. I don't want you guys using my key. Now that that's done, we can go ahead and close out of your server config file. Go back to your main directory. So now that that's done, we need to update our server and make sure it's on the latest framework. Using the link in the description, we can now download that using latest recommended, of course. And depending on your internet, it's going to take a couple seconds to download. As you can tell, mine is now done. We're going to open that up, and it's going to bring you something that looks like this. This is all of your DLL files you'll need to update with. Now that that's done, you can just exit out of that completely. Once we're here, make sure the server is not online, which it shouldn't be if you're following the tutorial. Hit Control A. It's going to highlight everything in this. You can hold, click, and drag and release over here. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring all of those files into your server directory, its main root. Basically what that's doing right now is it's updating and it's moving all those files over. That way your server's running on the latest and recommended server build. So once this is done, I'll get back to you. Okay, now that you see now 982 files with the same names, you're going to hit yes, replace these files. This is just updating everything and make sure everything is good to go on your server. This might take a few moments to completely do this. Your file explorer might kind of go like this as well. That's because it's moving a ton of files at once. So, as you can see, 1,000 files. Now that that's done, your server should be up to date and good to go. So we're going to go down. We're going to go to server, fxserver.exe. And if you double click on that, it's going to bring up a window like this. Now what it's doing is it's bringing it's making a TX data folder for you. It's going to bring you to a web page like this. Now if you don't have it auto-filled, you click back onto this window and you can just take that code right there. Don't share the code obviously, and mine will be blurred for obvious reasons. So now that what we're going to do is once you're going to put that code in, you're going to hit link account. It's going to load. It's going to prompt you to a sign-in page. You should already have an account since you made a Keymaster 1 through Keymaster, right? So you're going to hit continue. It's going to prompt you to a page like this. It's going to have you type in your password. Once your password's in, hit save. It's going to prompt you to something like this. I'm not going to save the password because this server is going to be deleted afterwards. So if you want to read this, you can. It's basically saying, you know, kind of what you're doing here. We're going to hit next since I'm here. And we're going to name this localhost. This is just your TX dashboard page name. You can change these later on as well. Once that's done, we can hit next. And I'm going to be using local server data. If you're local hosting, this is the one you want to click. And it's going to bring something like this. To find where you need to put this, you're going to go back into your main directory. You're going to scroll all the way up to the top. You're going to go in your CFX server data master. Once you're in there, click once up top over here. Hit Control C to copy that. You're going to go back in here. You're going to hit Control V. It's going to paste that back in where you need. Now if you hit next, it's going to bring you to a config file. This is where your server config is. This is auto detected most of the time. If it's not, just add the slash there server.config and it'll automatically do it for you. Hit save. We're all set. We're all good to go. We're gonna hit save and start server. It's gonna bring us to a dashboard like this. Now since we are doing TX integration, we're gonna show you how to do the TX menu, which is going to allow you and your admins to properly manage the server without having vmenu perms or anything like that off the moment. So what we're going to do is, if you see this right here, set, plus set txEnableMenuBeta true, you're going to copy this. You're going to go to where it says additional arguments right above it, and you're going to paste that in there. Control C, Control V, go down and hit save FX server settings. Now you're all done in there. So we're going to go back to our dashboard. We're going to hit restart. If it says this, this can always be updated later on. The one we downloaded is up to date, so this might just be because we just set the server up. So now that that's done, we can go to live console, and you can see that the server is completely started and it's good to go. Now that that's all started, we're going to open up our Fivem client. We're good to connect now. If you want other players to play on your server, you need to port forward. I will have a video linked into the description of how to port forward your server. That's going to allow you to have other players on it and do other things that you can't without port forwarding. So what we're going to do, now that our Fivem's loaded up, we're going to type localhost, or connect, sorry, and then localhost. Then hit enter. It's going to bring you to a page that looks like this. It's going to download the default add-ons. So give that a second. Sometimes it takes a minute depending on your computer speed. So now we're good. We're loading into the server. It may take a minute, like I said, depending on your computer speed, to completely download the map and load in. You can see your progress on the right hand side, downloading my game. This usually takes 30 seconds depending on the mods you have. This is a basic server, there's no mods, so it should load in pretty much instantly. As you can tell, it is. I will cut back once we pretty much load into the game, that way you don't have to sit here with me the whole time. As you can see, we are 80% loaded in. It should only be a couple seconds and we'll be into the whole server itself. So we're just going to wait this out because it's not worth cutting because it can always jump ahead. So 90%, it's probably going to cut to another menu or another screen, and you'll be loading into the whole server itself, which it's doing right now. Now that we are kind of loading in right now, it's going to say awaiting scripts. That's perfectly normal. It's fine. Bam. It's going to load the map. Give it a second, and you're in your FX server now. You are on the GTA map. You're completely in and ready to go. Now your server itself is completely set up. So if we do open up text box hitting T, /TX, it's going to open up a menu on your side, and it's going to show you all these different things. You can navigate this menu using your arrow keys on your keyboard. This will have teleport, spawn vehicles, fix vehicle, a whole bunch of stuff in here for admins and stuff. This is what it's mainly for. If you hit tab, it's going to bring you your player menu. Right now I don't have anybody on, it's just me, it's a local host, so it's going to show me. If we hit if you hit tab again, it's going to bring you to basically a web version of what we've seen before. And you can do basically that by logging into that account, which I'm not going to in this video because we already seen that. So this is basically how to set up your complete Fivem server bare bones with TX and the admin integration. This is kind of a great start to kind of get yourself in the doorway of Fivem. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. In the description, all the links are there if you want to play on my server. My server links are going to be there. And also our development server if you have any issues. Comments are also there if you also have any issues. Please leave us a comment below. Thank you for watching the video.